I would say that we are confident, determined, and that we stand ready for the next hours to convince all the people that we can convince, because if we want to get the victory, we need to convince all the people that remains to be convinced by our vision and our proposals for France.
We're in Villeurbanne, a stronghold of Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the candidate. A lot of his voters need to be convinced for Emmanuel Macron to get re-elected. How can you win those left-wing voters that voted for him in 2017, but this time around are not too sure about that?
I think that first of all, everybody must be aware that there is a clear choice to make for the future of France between two different visions of the future of France. One which is supported by Emmanuel Macron, where France will play a key role in Europe. Another one where France would withdraw from Europe, a kind of Brexit. A proposal defended by Emmanuel Macron, in which we have very strong proposals for reinforcing the purchasing power of the French people. And I think that one of the striking points of the debate yesterday is the fact that we have the best proposals as far as purchasing power of the French people is concerned. When you're looking at the proposals from Marine Le Pen, they are not so convincing and they are not funded. So I think that there are really key elements regarding the future of France on which we have the best solutions, and the solutions that might also convince voters coming from the left-wing parties.
We know that purchasing power has been a key topic in this campaign, and of course the geopolitical context with the war in Ukraine and the potential impact of the sanctions. How do you prepare the French people, and how far do you think people are to take on the cost potentially of some of these sanctions of the war in Ukraine?
We are fully aware of the cost of these sanctions, but I just want to recall that we have taken all the necessary decisions over the last month to protect the French population against the consequences of the rise of energy prices. We are the single country and the single government within the EU that has decided, not in 2022 but before the Ukraine crisis, in 2021, to cap the electricity prices, not more than 4% for the electricity prices in France, to freeze the gas prices, and to provide also support to the people that are using their cars to go working, with a support of 18 cents per gasoline liter. So I just want to insist on the fact that we have taken the strongest measures over the other EU member states to protect the French population against the consequences of the sanctions against Russia.
The situation in 2022 is very different to 2017 if Emmanuel Macron is re-elected. A lot of people want to abstain or vote no. A big part of the population is voting for an anti-system candidate. How can Emmanuel Macron, if he's re-elected, reconcile a country that seems to be more and more divided?
This will be one of the key challenges of the next mandate of Emmanuel Macron if he is re-elected on Sunday. And I think that if you want to reconciliate all the French population and to avoid that gap between two parts of the populations, that kind of discrepancy between two parts of the population, you have first of all to go to full employment. I really think that having full employment, it will be the first time over the next half century that France would have the full employment, is one of the ways to convince the people that we can reconciliate the French society. We have also to defend very strong rules, and to recall that everybody has to abide by the Republican rule and by the Republican law. This is a way also of preserving and reinforcing the unity of the French population. And the third point on which I would like to insist is the fact that we need a vision, a long-term vision, which would be based on the necessity of fighting against the climate change and being the first developed countries to reduce its CO2 emissions and to have a decarbonated economy.